If you're looking for the best single-player games on PS4, you're in the right place. Here are 25 games worth every minute of your time. Starting off the list at number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2 is simply one of the greatest games ever made. And if you have not played it yet, stop everything you are doing right now. Rockstar built one of the most detailed open-world environments in gaming history, set in a stunning recreation of the American frontier. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw with a complicated conscience, and the story will genuinely make you feel things you did not expect from a video game. It is a long game, but every hour earns its keep. Coming in at number 2, God of War is the kind of game that redefines what an action-adventure can be. Kratos leaves behind Greek mythology and steps into a brutal Norse world, now traveling with his son Atreus, and the relationship between them is the emotional core that makes everything work. The combat is weighty and satisfying. The visuals still hold up beautifully today, and the camera never cuts away once throughout the entire experience. This is an absolute must-play on PlayStation 4. Third on the list is The Last of Us Remastered, Naughty Dog's survival drama that set a new bar for storytelling in video games. You follow Joel and Ellie across a post-apocalyptic United States, navigating both human threats and infected enemies in tense, resource-scarce encounters. The emotional writing and layered character work are what keep people talking about this game over a decade after its original release. Playing it on PS4 at higher frame rates and resolution makes an already stunning game feel even sharper. At number 4, Elden Ring is From Software's open-world masterpiece, and easily one of the most talked about games of the last several years across YouTube, Reddit, and gaming communities everywhere. The game drops you into the lands between with almost no guidance, rewarding curiosity and patience with discoveries that feel genuinely earned. The combat demands focus and timing. The boss encounters are legendary in difficulty and design, and the sheer scale of the world keeps revealing surprises even dozens of hours in. It is challenging in the best possible way. Number 5 goes to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a game that remains the benchmark for open-world RPGs years after its release. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter navigating a war-torn fantasy world in search of his adopted daughter. What sets it apart is the quality of its side quests, many of which tell stories more compelling than the main plots of other entire games. With 2 massive expansions included in the Complete Edition, available on PS4, the content here will keep you busy for well over 100 hours. Ghost of Tsushima earns its spot at number 6 as one of the most visually stunning games ever released on PlayStation 4. Sucker Punch crafted a gorgeous recreation of feudal Japan and filled it with samurai action that feels both precise and cinematic. The photo mode alone could justify the purchase, but the real draw is the story of Jin Sakai, a samurai forced to abandon his code to protect his people. The combat rewards skilled play, the open world never feels empty, and the atmosphere is unlike anything else on the platform. Marvel's Spider-Man lands at number 7, and this is without question the definitive Spider-Man experience in gaming. Insomniac nailed the web-swinging mechanics, and moving through a fully realized New York City feels genuinely satisfying from the very first minute. The story takes Peter Parker seriously, giving him real emotional weight beyond just the superhero action, and the side content is plentiful without ever feeling like filler. Whether you are a longtime Spider-Man fan or completely new to the character, this game delivers. Bloodborne at number 8 is From Software's gothic masterpiece and a game that demands your full attention. Set in a Victorian-inspired nightmare city overrun by cosmic horrors and beast-like creatures, the game rewards aggression rather than defensive play, pushing you to stay in the fight and reclaim health by dealing damage. The atmosphere is thick and suffocating in the best way, and unraveling the lore piece by piece is an experience unlike anything else in gaming. It is brutally difficult, but finishing it feels like a real accomplishment. Horizon Zero Dawn comes in at number 9 as one of Sony's best original IPs from the PS4 era. The world Guerrilla Games built, where robotic dinosaurs roam overgrown ruins of civilization, is immediately fascinating, and the mystery of how that world came to be is the driving force that keeps you engaged. Aloy is a compelling protagonist. The combat against machine enemies is creative and tactical, and the open world is packed with content that actually ties into the larger story. It holds up extremely well in 2026. Persona 5 Royal earns its place at number 10 as one of the deepest and most stylish JRPGs available on PS4. The turn-based combat is layered and rewarding, but what makes this game special is the way it balances dungeon crawling with a surprisingly heartfelt story about a group of students fighting against corrupt adults. The visual style is unlike anything else on the platform, dripping with personality in every menu and animation. Clocking in at over 100 hours for a full playthrough, the sheer value here is hard to match. 11 on the list is God of War Ragnarok, the direct sequel that many consider an even bigger achievement than the original 2018 game. Kratos and Atreus are now facing the full weight of the Norse apocalypse, and the story takes some genuinely surprising turns in how it handles both characters. The combat expands on every system from the first game, adding new weapons and abilities that keep encounters fresh throughout. As a PS4 title, it is technically impressive, and the writing is among the best in gaming from that year. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End takes the 12th spot and serves as a near-perfect cinematic action adventure. Naughty Dog gives Nathan Drake a proper send-off, with a story that is more personal and emotionally grounded than any previous entry in the series. The traversal feels natural, the set pieces are spectacular, and the banter between characters gives it a warmth that few action games ever manage. Even if you have never played the earlier Uncharted games, this one is a completely worthwhile experience on its own. The Last of Us Part 2 arrives at 13 and is one of the most divisive, yet undeniably impressive games to come out of the PS4 era. Naughty Dog pushed the hardware to its absolute limits, with stunning environments and some of the most fluid and visceral combat the genre has seen. The story takes unexpected and uncomfortable turns that challenge what you expect from a sequel, and that boldness alone makes it essential viewing for anyone serious about games as a storytelling medium. It demands your emotional patience and rewards it. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice earns the 14th spot as From Software's most focused and mechanically precise action game. Unlike Dark Souls or Elden Ring, Sekiro does not allow you to grind stats or swap builds, meaning the only way through is to genuinely master the posture and deflection combat system. Set in a reimagined late Sengoku period Japan, the game oozes atmosphere and rewards players who commit to learning its rhythm. Every boss encounter feels like a dance that becomes progressively more readable and satisfying the longer you stick with it. Resident Evil 2 at number 15 is a remake that does everything right and serves as the gold standard for how to modernize a classic game. Capcom rebuilt the original from the ground up with an over-the-shoulder camera that dramatically increases tension without sacrificing the survival horror feel that made the original iconic. Playing as Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield through Raccoon City's police station and beyond, you are constantly managing resources, solving puzzles, and running from Mr. X in a way that never stops being tense. Number 16 is Resident Evil 4, the 2023 remake of one of the most influential games ever made. Capcom took the beloved original and rebuilt it with modern visuals and refined mechanics, while preserving the rhythm and pacing that made players fall in love with it decades ago. Leon's mission to rescue the president's daughter in rural Spain remains one of gaming's most satisfying campaigns, blending action and horror in a way that few games manage. The PS4 version delivers a fantastic experience that newcomers and returning fans both enjoy equally. Batman Arkham Knight slides in at 17 as the definitive entry in Rockstar Games' celebrated Arkham series. The Batmobile integration divides fans, but the core of what made Arkham Asylum and Arkham City great is still very much present, including satisfying free-flow combat, incredible voice work, and a Gotham City that genuinely feels alive and detailed. The story goes to some bold places with Batman's psychology, and the villain lineup is strong enough to keep the narrative engaging all the way through to a memorable conclusion. Nioh 2 earns its spot at number 18 as one of the most technically deep action games available on PS4. Team Ninja built on the already strong foundation of the original Nioh and gave players an enormously complex RPG system underneath the demanding samurai combat. Set in a dark interpretation of the Sengoku era, blending real historical figures with supernatural enemies called yokai, the game rewards deep engagement with its mechanics. If you enjoyed Sekiro or Bloodborne and want something with more character customization, Nioh 2 delivers. Death Stranding at 19 is unlike anything else on this list, and that is exactly the point. Hideo Kojima's post-apocalyptic delivery simulator asks you to reconnect a fractured America by carrying cargo across hauntingly beautiful and dangerous landscapes. The gameplay loop is meditative and deliberate, the world building is dense and imaginative, and the online component, which lets you use structures built by other players without ever directly meeting them, creates a quiet sense of community. It is a slow game that rewards patience with something genuinely moving. Detroit Become Human lands at number 20 as Quantic Dream's most polished and ambitious narrative experience. The branching story follows 3 android characters navigating a near-future Detroit, where artificial intelligence has reached human-level consciousness, and the choices you make genuinely change the direction of events in surprising ways. The production quality is exceptional, and the flowchart system that lets you see paths you did not take after each chapter is a satisfying touch. It works incredibly well as an interactive drama you can share with someone watching alongside you. Shadow of the Colossus at 21 is a masterclass in minimalist game design that still holds up as one of the most affecting experiences in the medium. The PS4 remake, developed by Bluepoint Games, rebuilt the original with stunning visual fidelity while preserving everything that made the original so emotionally resonant. You climb and battle 16 massive colossi in a hauntingly empty world, and the tension of each encounter, combined with the weight of what you are doing, builds into something that stays with you long after the credits roll. Control earns the 22nd spot as Remedy Entertainment's most original and atmospheric game to date. Playing as Jesse Faden investigating the mysterious Federal Bureau of Control building in New York, the game throws surreal architecture, Lynchian horror, and satisfying telekinetic combat into a package that feels genuinely unlike anything else. The lore runs incredibly deep for players who want to dig into every collectible and document, while the core gameplay loop of levitating objects and blasting enemies with their own environment remains consistently enjoyable throughout. Hollow Knight at 23 is one of the finest indie games ever made and belongs in any conversation about the best PS4 single-player experiences. Team Cherry built an enormous underground insect kingdom filled with challenging combat, intricate level design, and a wordless, melancholic atmosphere that is utterly absorbing. The game gives you very little direction and trusts you to discover its world at your own pace, and the sheer scale of what was built by a tiny team makes it all the more impressive. The difficulty is real, but never unfair. Disco Elysium at number 24 is one of the most genuinely unusual games on this list, and that is its greatest strength. Playing as a deeply troubled detective with no memory in a gritty post-revolutionary city, the game is almost entirely dialogue and internal monologue, with your character's different personality traits literally arguing with each other as voices in your head. There is virtually no combat, but the writing is so layered, funny, and philosophically rich that it stands as one of the most memorable narrative experiences available on PS4. Outer Wilds closes out the list at number 25, as a game that is almost impossible to talk about without spoiling, which is itself a testament to how special it is. You play as a young alien explorer in a solar system stuck in a 22-minute time loop, and slowly uncovering why it is happening and what it all means is one of the most genuinely awe-inspiring mystery-solving experiences in gaming. It requires no combat skill, only curiosity and attention, and finishing it delivers a sense of emotional resolution that very few games ever manage to achieve.